everyone and welcome back to the channel for today's video. In today's video I'm going to be decorating with the Witch Cottage house, which is in the current star path. It's taken us a long time to unlock this because we've had to earn enough tokens to obviously get to the point where we can unlock it. So as soon as I had enough and had 300 I needed, I got this straight away because I just think it's really cute and I couldn't wait to build with it. So I decided to pop it here in the bind, and I'm going to be creating a witchy kind of area, and then I decided to actually use some of the new greenhouse pieces that also come in the star path to create a kind of witch themed greenhouse, and I really just wanted to kind of give this big area and kind of add to the witchy theme. So I hope you guys enjoy, and let's get started. So as you can see, to start off with, I placed the witch house in this left hand side of the bind, and then one of the first things I wanted to do was start kind of figuring out a layout for the greenhouse. I went in with this with not really any clue what kind of shape or size I wanted to make the greenhouse. Obviously I had kind of this limited corner space to figure it out, which it means it can be quite big, but obviously not many shapes and sizes could fit in here. So I kind of had to play around with it for quite a while, and I do figure out the eventual shape that I end up using. I also wanted to make sure I could fit a lot of trees and foliage behind and in front of the greenhouse because I want it to be really dense and covered as if it's in the middle of a forest and kind of hidden away. So I had to make sure I could leave these gaps to allow the trees in and also not block the house because the house is quite tiny. So I wanted to make sure I had enough coverage of everything, but also meant that we could kind of get in and out of things easily. Now, once I was happy with the location of the greenhouse and kind of the entrance and exit points, I decided to add in a bunch of the bigger, more dense trees. I added a couple of these swampy ones from the Glade of Trust in the base game and added them to the four corners of the greenhouse because they kind of clip into the walls, so you can kind of see them inside as well, which I really loved. And then also added in some more trees. I went with a mixture of greens and oranges and things like that. Obviously in the bind a lot of the trees and stuff from here are orange and red, but I wanted to incorporate some green to match the green kind of foliage that is on the Witchy Cottage. I didn't want it to feel out of place, so I did kind of add a bit of everything in here to kind of give it a mix and match look. Now, once I'd added in the majority of the trees around the back of the greenhouse and the back of the Witch Cottage, I decided to add in kind of our bushes and smaller foliage. So as you can see, I'm using a lot of the ones from the bind itself. So a lot of these orange and red plants, but I do go in, as you will see, and add in ones from different places, from all different kind of the base game, from Eternity Isle and on from the Vale, to add in some mushrooms and also some more brightly coloured plants. I kind of kept it with the green, red and orange theme, and kind of went for the more darker greens as well to fit with those fir trees that I added in, to keep it all kind of matching together and really feel like a cohesive forest. Once this main kind of like overgrown area was in place, I then started adding in my pathway. Used some of these little pathway slabs that we got from the Oasis Retreat Star Path, and I dotted these coming out from the Witch's Cottage as well as leading up to the entrance of the greenhouse. Obviously at the moment they do look quite gappy and strange, but I obviously will add plants and stuff around it to make it look more overgrown, but I really wanted to use these because I felt like they just fit the vibe. And then I also added in the brand new mushroom pond that is currently in the premium shop. I absolutely love this pond and I was so excited to get it, and I know I'll definitely be using a lot of it, especially in the bind, so I felt like it went really well with this Witch Cottage. Obviously I will later on add some stuff into it, but for now I wanted to add that in, as well as the big kind of creepy tree that we got from the Haunting Island Festival event. I just felt like he really went with the witch theme, and I feel like this would be one of those trees you go up to and it would talk to you. And then I also added in the little clock tower with the flying books around it. Again, that magical theme going on, and then also a table and chairs and some other little items to kind of fit with the theme. The next thing I went in to add was some lighting, so I added in some of these kind of overgrown wooden lampposts that we got with Timon and Pumbaa. I really would love another version of these that is a bit more rustic and doesn't have like the bugs and everything on them, but I do feel like they still really work. They go with that forest theme and obviously the greens and the browns, and also work really well to give it that kind of firefly, more rustic look. So I added those in. I also added in some of the little mining lanterns around, as well as some candles, and then obviously continued on with adding in a bunch of the furniture I felt like fit in here, like pumpkins. We've got the little book items that you can put on the floor. We've got a little water pump. We had kind of a big range of things, but kept with that rustic feel. Once I'd done that, I started adding things into the pond. I went for some simple little items. I went for some of the little water lily pads that we got with Alice in Wonderland, some of the little glowing lotus ones that we got with Tiana, and then obviously some of the base game ones. You can fit quite a lot into this pond, so I feel like you could definitely mix and match and add what you wanted to, but I wanted to keep it quite natural, but also add in the little yellow ones to kind of fit with the orange theme going on, and then added in some of the final foliage bits around the edge of the pathway to make it feel very overgrown. And as you can see off camera, I did plant some pumpkins. This is something that I've recently been starting to do in builds, is kind of adding in actual crops. I do wish they didn't move. That is my one thing with them, is I really wish they would just be still, or you could kind of toggle it on and off in settings, because it does bother me a lot that you can see them moving all the time. But I did want to add some naturally grown pumpkins around. I just feel like it looked a lot more natural for this area. Seems like maybe by magic they kind of just sprouted up everywhere. I didn't want it to kind of be an established pumpkin patch like I've done before, so I did add those in, and I am enjoying kind of adding crops in like that as a design feature when it comes to builds. So for the greenhouse, I decided to go with some of the ancient pathway that we got in Eternity Isle to go underneath. I just love the cobbled look of this and that you can see the ground through it. Now, as you can see from the camera angle, it is really difficult to build into this greenhouse. As you can see, I struggled a lot. So in the end, I decided to get rid of these bigger pieces, as well as some of the big trees, so that I could see better to put the pathway in and start building the furniture. The only issue with this is it meant that when I did decorate it and put furniture in, there were certain items that were too tall to go in here. There were certain items that the game just didn't like me putting in here, and also obviously I had to leave gaps and things so that I could fit the gazebo bits back in. I do crop out a lot of the footage of me doing that, so if things do just magically appear or disappear, it is because I had such a drama with getting this sorted. I just found it really difficult camera wise to get in there and kind of function it, so that is something to bear in mind. It is definitely better to decorate first and then put the big gazebo bits in after, but obviously just be mindful of the fact that they do have the posts that need to fit in and you need to leave the correct gaps, etc. As well as that, I also kept having an issue where every time I would load out a furniture menu, a bunch of my progress would go back. So I remember I spent about 45 minutes to an hour moving things and basically got it perfect, got all the gazebos back in. I was basically done, and I loaded out and I'd lost all of it. So if things do slightly change from where I've placed them, look a bit different, it is one of those two things. It's either the game getting rid of it, or it's I have had to move it, so just bear that in mind. But I did really enjoy doing it, and as you can see, I'm starting to place some items in and figure out where I want things to go. And I had a huge amount of furniture that was on option to go in here. I didn't have a huge idea of what I wanted to put in here at first, but I actually wanted to kind of take a little bit of inspiration, and it's not similar in any way or shape or form. I will put some pictures in, and as you can tell from these pictures, if you recognize them, you'll know it is in no way the same. It is definitely not the same kind of witchy vibe that I went for, but I did really feel like I wanted to take a little bit of inspo from the greenhouse that is in the Coven series of American Horror Story, if anyone has seen it. Obviously, if you have seen it, you'll know the vibe is very, very different from what I went for in here. It's definitely not the same kind of cottagecore, whimsical vibe, but creating that in DDV would have been quite difficult. But this was kind of my inspo in the sense of the layout, as well as using like the long tables down the front, and the tables kind of covered in lots of pots and flowers and a lot of greenery. So that was kind of my inspo in a slight way, but obviously changed it and made it a lot more of a DDV friendly cottagecore kind of vibe, rather than the darker theme that is going on in the pictures. So as you can see, once I'd put in the majority of the furniture, I started to obviously add in the greenhouse roofs. As you can see, this is where I had the problem of fitting them back in. So I do show you slightly of me tweaking and changing everything. I don't show you the whole process because, as I said, It took me a very long time. It then completely deleted itself when I loaded out a furniture menu, and I had to redo it all again. So I didn't include it all because I knew that wouldn't be fun for you guys to watch, but I did want to show you a little bit of how I pieced it together, because it is very, very fiddly. So this is the final build. As you can see, I have made it sunset so you can see everything lit up, and we've obviously got the pond on the left and then the little witchy cottage with lots of floral design around it. I added the little table for people to hang out in, and obviously the mushrooms and the glowing lights all the way down the path. And then obviously in this overgrown path we've got the spooky tree from the recent event. We've also got a little pumpkin cart. We've obviously got the clock tower with the flying books. This was from the premium shop recently, and I kind of wanted to make it as covered over and as overgrown as I could. And as we go into the greenhouse, you'll see there are tweaks and changes from when you saw it last, obviously that I did off camera because of it deleting itself, but obviously I wanted to create a table in the middle with lots of plants and everything on it. I did my best to show you it because obviously the camera was going into the greenhouse walls. It was a bit of a pain, but I also created a little outside area because for some reason this gorgeous table that we got in the star path currently doesn't go inside the greenhouse. It's too tall, so I put it outside, added a little cauldron and another little floral shelf unit that was too tall to go in here, and then obviously rearranged some of the existing furniture in here to just create this really kind of whimsical, overgrown vibe. I think it's definitely got a little bit of an element of the inspo, but also very much feels like the greenhouse in Harry Potter to me as well. So I kind of had a mix and match of both to create this vibe. Here are some shots of the final build. I hope you guys did enjoy, and it potentially gave you some inspo for this cottage, or even just for a greenhouse if you were thinking about doing one. I did really enjoy using these pieces because I hadn't actually had a chance to use them yet, and I felt like they matched really well with this house, and I'm glad to finally have had the house from the Star Path. It is nice to have it unlocked and done, and I'm really enjoying the houses in Star Path as well. Let me know down below if you enjoyed, and if there's anything else you want to see on the channel. I'm currently taking you guys' suggestions, and I've got a list going of all the things that I'm working my way through. So if there is anything particular you do want to see, whether it's from the base game, Eternity Isle, Storybook Vale, or obviously Wish Blossom Ranch when it comes out, and also just like challenges, things that are a bit random, a bit strange, I would love to know. Make sure you like and subscribe if you did enjoy. It helps me out so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.